It's January 27th, 1969. The story is called Postman. It's about a postman.
Interior diner, a dark stage with a table upstage center and a chair on either side. Special on Postman, center stage. He puts his hands in his pockets. Both characters address the audience.
Hey, I'm a postman. Or at least that's my job.
This mundane story is about the troubles of his mundane life. But it gets better, I promise.
Postman begins pacing back and forth.
Putting around the town in those fancy little white motor cars.
His job requires him to get up early.
Early is one word for it. So early the sun is still half asleep.
He has a purpose, however.
Documents and packages every day of the week. Except Sunday.
Except, of course, Sunday. The man's gotta have a day off, right?
I have a dog!
He has odd choices in dog names.
I call him Captain Spock.
He loves them, though.
I feed him and take him for drives.
The postman doesn't have a lot of friends.
I had a house, but I lost it.
He's divorced.
I couldn't pay the loans.
He also has poor credit, but his wife did take half of everything he owned.
My ex-wife took my Camaro. Now I'm riding my bike because they wouldn't let me take the mail truck home.
It's against company policy. They understand that he's going through a tough time, and they want to let him take the company truck home, but they don't want to lose their jobs.
The lights go from dark to Phil as Margaret walks on stage and catches the postman's eye, who hastily gets up and follows her like he's a puppy. She cannot see or hear him, so she goes about doing things waitresses do.
This is Margaret. She's a waitress.
Wait, now it's about a waitress?
She works 9 a.m. to 5 in the evening.
So she works an 8-hour shift.
Then she drives home when the sun is leaving.
Wait, well, hey, it doesn't pay much, but it pays bills.
Postman sits down in the chair but continues to admire her.
When she gets home, there's nobody waiting for her. Just a TV set in the corner and a cup of herbal tea because she doesn't drink caffeine.
She's so lonely. And of course she doesn't drink caffeine. Caffeine is bad for you.
Sappy romance novels fill her shelves next to books to help her help herself.
Have you been stalking her?
She brings them to work. The smiling faces paint their covers mockingly.
Yeah. Why do they have to get to be so happy?
One day she met a postman. A gentleman. And they brushed hands.
Margaret, finally noticing the postman sitting at the table, hands him a cup of coffee.
Their hands touch.
As she hands him his cup of coffee.
As she hands the coffee off, he places his hand over hers on the cup and the time freezes.
Will they make it? Probably not.
Narrator exits and the lights come back up to the full on the two of them. Postman takes the cup.
Hey, Margaret.
Well, if it isn't our friendly neighborhood postman, it's always a pleasure seeing your face around here.
I do love, this coffee.
That was just made 2 minutes ago. Don't!
No, it's fine. My favorite temperature is scalding hot.
Oh, postman.
Hey, how many times do you think I've come in here?
Well, I would say every morning. About noon or so.
Except, of course, Sundays.
Of course I know that.
And do you know why?
You don't work Sundays.
No, why I come to this diner at noon.
Because that's when your shift ends?
I mean, why do I come to this diner every time?
Creature of habit? Or scalding hot coffee?
I became a postman so that I could wake up every morning and see the sunrise. I didn't have any other reason. I just like the sunrises. I just like sunrises. I know it sounds completely ridiculous to strive for it, but I guess it was just fate. It was as if this is always what I was meant to be. Money didn't matter, or status, just that sweet 15 minutes as the sun appears over the horizon.
Wow. That's actually the sweetest thing I've ever heard, postman.
But then, I walk into here every day and none of that matters anymore because at that moment and that moment only had I truly seen the most beautiful sight in this world. You.
Oh, you mean you and me?
Margaret, if you would allow it, I would very much like to take you out on a date.
I don't know. I'm still getting over a pretty bad breakup. She was really high-strung.
Just give me one date, tonight. I promise you'll have a great time.
Tonight?
Hey, whoever said spontaneity wasn't cool?
You're a postman. You'll never be cool.
You slay me with your words, madame. I think I've earned at least one date.
Margaret thinks, then writes down on a notepad and rips off the sheet, giving it to him.
Here's my address.
Really? How does 7 o'clock sound?
I'll see you then.
I need to get ready.
The postman leaves and Margaret starts to clean again. After a beat, the postman casually strolls back in, hands in his pocket.
She was high-strung?
Do you have a problem with that?
No, ma'am.
Postman leaves and everything freezes, just as he does. Narrator enters back onto stage.
And of course, as most mundane love stories go, they fall madly in love.
The calendar changes from January 1969 to January 1970. The narrator leaves as Postman comes back on stage and sits back down across from Margaret.
I'm sick of being a postman. It's lost its luster lately.
Is it the war, hun?
What the hell are we doing in Vietnam anyway? We have no excuse for drafting. This isn't our fight.
Just be happy you're a federal employee. You won't get drafted.
That's not how it works. It's taken a lot out of me. Delivering draft letters is a death sentence. Work of the Grim Reaper. Do you see a scythe in my hand?
Is that allegorical?
Metaphorical.
Rhetorical, dear.
Regardless, I'm drained. If I have to see one more crying mother, one more confused child, I'm going to lose it.
Maybe you should take a week off and clear your head.
Yeah, maybe. I'm scared. The draft can get anyone.
But you're a postman.
And the last letter I delivered was to an elementary school teacher. It doesn't matter.
There's always room for change. Besides, you're too sweet. They wouldn't have any reason to take you, my love.
She gives him a kiss on the cheek.
I love you.
I love you too.
Margaret, we've been together a little over a year now.
Not having any regrets, are we?
No, of course not. In fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. Margaret, the waitress, will you marry me?
Here? In the diner? In front of all these people?
What? This is when my shift ends. I honest to God couldn't wait a second longer. Now, do you want to marry me or not?
Yes, of course, postman.
They embrace and he puts the ring on her. They both begin dancing, either swing or ballroom, and the narrator comes back on as the calendar changes to January 1971.
It was all absolutely 100% mundane.
The wedding announcements.
Mundane.
The wedding itself. Traditional white gown, flowers on every table, our first dance.
Mundane.
The reception.
It was pretty spectacularly catered reception.
There we go.
You're still a postman, though.
I wish I wasn't these days.
Still, and I've overplayed the word by now. This is the story of his mundane life. But I promised, and it does get better.
Postman walks in and walks right up to them, visibly shaken.
Postman?
Sweetie?
I got a letter. Me, a letter. How ironic, right?
Postman.
I mean, who would send a postman a letter? It's like you said, narrator. I don't have a lot of friends.
You're scaring us.
So I opened it up, and do you know what it said? To Postman. Greeting. You are hereby ordered for induction into the Armed Forces of the United States and to report to the local recruiting office on January 15th at noon for forwarding to an Armed Forces induction station. Signed, General Moore.
Oh my God, the draft.
Is this one of your sick jokes, narrator?
I told you it was going to get better, didn't I?
How is this better?
You wished you weren't a postman anymore. Well, now you're not. Now you're a soldier.
This isn't what I wanted.
It's not about what you wanted.
Then just reverse things. Use your magic.
My magic? Postman, it doesn't work that way.
What way does it work?
I don't have magic. I'm not a magician.
Then what the hell are you?
Postman balls up the paper and throws it in narrator's face. He storms off, Margaret running after. Narrator, still in shock, sits in the chair unsure of himself.
I'm just a narrator.
Lights down.
I am a postman. That is my job. Putting around the town in my fancy little white motor car. Early in the morning, when the bright yellow sun's still half asleep, transport important documents and packages every day of the week except Sunday. Hey, Sunday. Hey. I have a dog. I call him Captain Spock. I feel